welcome to another Let's Talk today. I'm joined by Christina, who's going to tell us all about her fitness journey over in, is it Canada?
California.
California, yes. Hi, Christina. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Sure. So I'm from San Diego, California. I recently graduated from UC Davis, which is the University of California, Davis. So it's like up north. I went in studying animal science actually because I wanted to be a vet. But after like 2 years of studying, I was like, I can't do this. Too much science. I'm a very hands-on kind of person.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think this is really for me. And I kind of had like a crisis moment. And so I was like, well, what other major could I do? And then that's when I thought about design, because I've been like super artistic my entire life. I've always like drawn horses. I've been drawn to horses. And so I didn't want to study just art because I feel like that's more like of a hobby, like it's your own kind of personal expression. And personally, I just don't see it like a business per se. It's like, okay, whoever like is interested, they can just buy your work, I suppose, but I don't like want that as my full-time job. But I wanted to do something creative. And so I was like, oh, design might be really cool. And so I went into studying design, and at Davis, it's like a very broad design program. So I got to dabble in many different things, and that's how I got into interior design. So I graduated right when the pandemic happened, actually, which was like the worst, absolute worst time.
Yeah.
Jobs. And so I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? And I like moved down to San Diego from Davis and lived with my parents. And then I came across my current job, which is to be like a professional color advisor for a paint store. So I help like homeowners, not so much like contractors, but I could help contractors choose like wall colors for their homes, like interior or exterior. And so that's kind of where I'm at now, but that's everything like non-fitness related. But I actually started my fitness journey, I think like it was 6 or 7 months ago.
Right, okay.
About 7 months
Quite
ago.
recent then, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very recent. I'm still very new at it. But I have Ellen as my coach, so she's helped me tremendously through this.
So how did you come across Ellen originally?
It's kind of funny actually. So when I moved back down to San Diego, I was leaving my ex-boyfriend. It was like this huge thing, and it was very complicated. And so I actually met Ellen through my now boyfriend. He was thinking that she might be really good for me, and she's really good with like the whole body positivity, and she works to actually be strong, and she knows her stuff, you know? So, and he's like into fitness as well. So he actually introduced me into weightlifting and encouraged me to reach out to her just to see, you know, like if we would be a good match. And we were, and still are. So I'm like currently working with her.
That's brilliant. Yes. Well, as you know, and anyone who's an active listener of this podcast, she was one of our previous guests on this, and she's told us a little bit about herself and how she interacts with clients and what she does from her perspective. So what's it like working with Ellen as a client, as a customer? What sort of stuff do you do, and what does she tell you?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny how everything happened because, you know, I'm in California, she's all the way in England, and it's kind of funny to have a trainer all the way in England.
Yeah.
But we make it work. She has, well, I have 3 different ways to talk to her. So we have a Facebook group with all the other Bill by 10 clients, which is super helpful to like connect to other people. Obviously I can reach out through her Instagram, but she probably gets a lot of messages, so it's not the like primary way. But there's an app, I believe it's just called like My Coach or something, like Coach. And so I get all my workout like programs through there. And I can also like, I mean, I like had so much anxiety going to the gym at first, like, because I've never ever like stepped foot into the gym until I worked with Ellen, really. And so I like now film my workouts, which is insane for me. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. But I'm filming all my workouts, I'm sending it to her, and I'm like filling out like how many reps I'm doing, how many sets, and also progress pictures, measurements. Now we're starting to do weight because I had an issue with like I guess seeing my weight because it was used as a tool like against me growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the main ways that I talk to Ellen.
What is it? Is it like sort of, because of course you're all the way over there, she's in the UK, as you've said. Is it sort of difficult to try and have that good balance of communication with her? Is it also just like via text and his reply, or do you get like time where you can sort of be like on a video call or on just
Oh,
a
right.
phone call?
Sorry, I totally missed that. So yes, there is a messaging feature. So I message her, and then once a week we do have like a Zoom call just to check in, see how we're doing. If I have any like questions about like exercises or, you know, nutrition has been something that I'm trying to work on, which is obviously the hardest part.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about that or like whatever issues or concerns that we have, which is great. The video calls do really, really help, and that's where I feel like I'm getting the most out of it.
Mhm.
Because if you're just like messaging, you can like misread the message, or it's good for like short things like for exercises or, you know, correcting form and whatnot. But when it comes to more of the gritty things, I feel like it's better to discuss it over video.
Yeah, brilliant. And how was your first experience then going into the gym?
So before I worked with Ellen, I went with my current boyfriend now. So the
Mhm.
first time to the gym, and I was just like, he like kind of set me up with like a little like workout thing for me to do. Um, I was so in my head is the best way to put it. Like I was just like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Everyone knows that I'm new. Everyone knows that like I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, like I didn't know if my form was good. I didn't know if I looked like I belonged in a gym. And the gym that we go to, like everyone's relatively like fit. You know, looks like they've been going to the gym, so that didn't like it was nice because it was like motivation for me to get better. But at the
Mhm.
same time, like I didn't know how they were or if they were like concerned about me like being new and not knowing what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was very, very nerve-wracking for me. Um, it's funny because I've always been like super athletic throughout my life and I've been very competitive, but I just never got into weightlifting until recently.
Hmm. So did you only ever go when you had your current boyfriend with you? Or did you start going like on your own as well to sort of reach that
Well,
confidence level?
yeah, so at first I went with him. Um, my biggest thing is I didn't want to go to the gym without a workout plan. Like I
Mhm.
didn't want to just like go on a treadmill and like walk or run for 30 minutes and then leave. Like I absolutely hate cardio. I have no like desire to do that. So there's like no reason why I would do it. Um, so yeah, at first like my boyfriend he would like go with me and we would just do exercises together, like whether it be lower body or upper body. But then but then when I started working with Ellen, which was really soon, I think it was like less than a month since the first time I went,
Mhm.
um obviously she started giving me plans and it was really hard for me to be consistent and go on my own. That was definitely the hardest part. Luckily, I didn't have a job at that point, so I didn't have much of an excuse.
Yeah.
But because of COVID and because of how everything was being down here, it was really difficult to even get a reservation to go to the gym. So there was times where like I wanted to go to the gym, but then I like couldn't because I didn't make a reservation and like in advance, like because you can only do it 24 hours in advance.
Right.
And so if
Okay.
I wanted to go to the gym at like 2 p.m., let's say, and it was 2 p.m. the day before, like it was basically all out. So you had to be like, I had to like set a timer just to like make a
Then,
reservation. It was
wow.
intense, but it's calmed down since then. But yeah, it was quite difficult. So I did a combination of like home workouts and actually going to the gym.
Mhm. What do you prefer, going to the gym or home workouts?
Definitely going to the gym, 100%. home workouts are good for like if you really can't make it and you want to feel productive and like want to do something and like move a little bit, get your blood flowing. I think that's a great way to do that. I think yoga especially is fantastic for that. But in the sense of like which I prefer, I definitely like going to the gym with people, if that makes sense, because I feel like
Yeah.
it pushes me because at home I don't work hard enough. Like I'm
Yeah,
really
it's a lot
like
easier to just slip into that that field,
yeah,
is
I know, like, I'm not gonna do the extra like 10 reps or whatever it is. But at the gym, I'm like, no, I don't want to like I need to push myself. I want those gains.
So what is then with sort of, you're starting your fitness journey, you've got an idea, you've had Ellen help a lot. What is at the moment your short-term sort of goals from it? Is it just to sort of be a little bit more confident in yourself, or is it, now that you're doing heavier weights, is it something to do with how heavy you can lift?
Well, yeah, well, this is kind of like a deeper question for me because growing up, my parents are Russian.
Hmm.
So, and I'm first generation American. So I grew up with their standards and their version of what beauty is. And in Russia, it's very like, imagine like a Victoria's Secret model. They're just very, very slim. Obviously you take care of yourself, but I think that goes for every culture.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just a very different look from what I am. Like I've never had like a very thin bone structure, and I've always like gained muscle relatively easily, and I've always like really liked being strong, but I felt like it's something that I couldn't explore because it would make me too bulky. Like lifting weights make you too big, and I have like big thighs, and big thighs are viewed horribly over there. Like it's like looks are everything. So
Yeah.
I never really got into that. So all the sports that I have done growing up were to basically make me as slim as possible. I would eat very, very low calories. Like I remember when I graduated from high school, in the span of 3 months before college, I, like worked out like 3 hours a day. I mean, I didn't track calories, but I would just avoid eating as much as I could, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember for breakfast, I would have like a fruit, but I really like papaya. So I'd have papaya for breakfast. I would like work out, and I did polo, the one on horses, and that was kind of like my job. And so it was a very like physically demanding job. And then for dinner, I would just have like a really small salad with like a little piece of chicken or a little fish, and that was it. And just like, I just remember going to bed like super hungry. It was horrible. Like, and I was just so tired of like doing diets all the time. And
Yeah.
um, I was just mentally like drained and could never be happy with where it was. Like, I lost 10 pounds and I would be like, oh, I need to lose another 10. Um, so going back to the point, basically what my goals are, I think leaving my family a bit, like it's not that I'm on bad terms with them, but kind of distancing myself really, really did help me a lot with my mental health. When I had insurance, I also went to therapy for various reasons, so that really helped me.
Hmm.
I think personally therapy is great for everyone, no matter like what's going on in your life. It's just a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, like, I don't know if this is cheesy or not, but meeting my boyfriend really helped me because he like likes strong women, if that makes sense. Like he likes women that take care of himself
Yeah.
and that are like not skinny per se, just like strong.
Hmm.
Um, and I've always like I remember when I did rowing, I really liked feeling strong, and I was really good at it. Like I'd never done it before. I went straight after swimming, like once that season was over, and I went to rowing. And then after a week, they like moved me up to varsity when most people always have like, like at least 2 years before they move up to varsity. So I was just like, I liked like feeling strong, and like, I'm like, yeah, like let's go. So I think right now I I definitely love feeling strong. I mean, part of it is of course for aesthetic reasons.
Hmm.
Um, but mainly I just really like how moving heavy weights feel, as weird as that is. Like it's very powerful, and I don't like being, what's the word for it? Like a dainty kind of girl, which
Yeah.
is what culture generally goes for. Like it's not that I'm like rebelling or being the opposite of that. I don't know. I think it's like cool to outlift some guys. Like
I imagine it must be a very satisfying
it's
feeling.
very satisfying. Yeah. And I don't know, I have a big bone structure. I naturally put on muscle pretty quick. So it's really exciting to see what your body can do. And like actually not viewing workouts as like a punishment to lose weight and to be as skinny as possible. It's just like, oh, how can you grow? How can you fuel yourself? And that shift in mindset just really has helped me tremendously.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. How has sort of the aura then? Because there's gyms are a fantastic place. I no longer have or go to mine because A, of COVID, so I've made my own in the house. But B, there's a lot of sort of, from my view, even as a guy, toxic men, and there's probably toxic women as well who would in there to look down on other people. How is that like with your gym?
To look down on people for not going to the gym? Is that
No,
your
who
question?
do just even like go to the gym, who don't lift heavy or do certain exercises, or because we're each in the gym for a completely different reason.
Right.
But someone who's lifting weights, I know, will look down on someone who is on the treadmill. And so in my gym, which was a shame, there was that sort of animosity when you go to other gyms and you see nice communities, like you said, with the Built by Facebook community. Do you get any of that at your gym where you go to?
Actually, no, I'm surprised to hear about that because I haven't really seen any of that. I mean, there are people who do just walk in and do cardio from what I've seen.
Mm.
And some people just focus on weightlifting or more of like kind of CrossFit type exercises. But I think because I know a lot of people that go to my gym are around my age, maybe, in their 30s or so.
Mm.
So they just really look like they're focusing on their own thing, which is, I think, what I had trouble thinking when I first came in. Like, I thought everyone would like focus on you and, like know that you're new, but no, in reality, everyone's just like focusing on their own workouts. I mean, yeah, there might be a weird person here and there, but I think that's an oddball, like at
Yeah.
least my experience. So no, that's very strange. I mean, it is very unfortunate, and I wish it wasn't like that because everyone has like different goals. So
Oh
why are
yeah.
you
It's like
be
a
like,
small margin of people, but sometimes there's one person who sort of sets the entire mood above everyone.
yeah, that makes sense.
So with your sort of fitness, do you reckon that going to the gym, I know you've touched a little bit on it, you think that's definitely sort of improved your mental health while going to the gym and accepting, your image?
I'm very insecure. I mean, I feel like most females, even males, are insecure in some way, shape, and form. But everything for me growing up was based on how I look, how I acted in order to attract someone to marry. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was like my sole, like my parents did not care. I mean, maybe a little bit, but generally they just did not care about like my happiness, my mental health. They didn't care about like my own growth and my own potential. And the whole point why they even sent me to college was to find someone to marry. Because when I was asking them for help, basically to be like, oh, I don't know what to study. Like, I'm just thinking about life, and I don't know if I should just be like an artist or do something else that's more money based. They're just, they straight up told me like, oh, we don't care, just find the right man. And so just even like my last year of college before, you know, or right when COVID hit, basically, like I was living with my ex-boyfriend. It was easily one of the worst years of my life because the day before that I moved in with him, I found out that he was cheating on me, and I couldn't get out of the lease. I couldn't. I feel like I couldn't break up with him because I was living with him, and I didn't want like him to bring other girls like behind my back. But anyway, he already was doing that, so I don't know. I just feel like it was just a very, very difficult time.
Yeah.
So in this sense, COVID was kind of like a blessing for me since I was able to move back home. But going back to the whole weight thing, it was very difficult because this is gonna seem kind of random because I adopted my cat And back in my house in San Diego with my parents, like we cannot have any pets.
Right.
And
Okay.
so it was a huge battle to even get my cat with me. And she really was and still is my emotional support animal in a way. She's not registered or anything, but she like really helped me through some hard times. And so eventually the only condition I was able to bring her in was if I would hey, Kiwi, sorry, she's being needy. The only way to bring her was if I was able to report my weight to my parents every week. And I would be on a diet plan and I would have to lose 2 pounds every single week. And if I didn't lose that weight, they would, take her and then give her to adoption or whatever. Obviously, I wasn't very happy with that, but I
Yeah.
wanted my cat, so I took her. And so yeah, that was my life for a couple months and trying to finish school and graduate. It's crazy thinking about how this was pretty much a year ago, because that was my life a year ago, and
Yeah.
now I'm like
And on top of the
after.
pandemic as well.
Oh my god, yeah, with the pandemic, like I didn't get to do like my graduation for college. I never got to like I had this like bucket list of things for what I wanted to do before I graduated. I literally couldn't do any of those. So I don't know. I made my peace with that, but I think just the last year really made me have a difficult relationship with my parents, because when I did tell them about how my ex cheated on me and everything,
Mhm.
their response was like, "Oh, well, you're not good enough. Like you were fat. Like you weren't X, Y, and Z. So like, of course he would." And they didn't like I guess support me at all or like care about how I felt.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just hard having that like reality check. And honestly, like that's kind of why I went to therapy, because I was just like, I cannot make any sense of this.
Mm.
But in it, like for me, going to the gym as like I mean, you probably hear this all the time, but it was just very symbolic for me, because it was the first time that I like was really doing something for myself. And like
Mhm.
I was basically going, I wasn't um listening to what my parents wanted. I was like listening to what my body needed, what I wanted, my own personal goals, and actually working on that. And it feels even better because I'm doing it basically without, their help. Like they're not paying for it for Alan, to be my coach. They're not paying for me going to the gym. They're not paying for my groceries. They're not, like I'm paying for everything.
Yeah.
So it's so like rewarding knowing that, like seeing how my body changes, like growing in my confidence, like because I'm working on like what I want is just really empowering, and it helps me with my confidence. And that's also why like with filming all my workouts and seeing like how I'm changing, that's why I also started my fitness account, because I thought it was just like a great way to keep me accountable with my workouts and with my fitness. Like I feel like it's not really, how to explain it, it's not really like to get a lot of followers or anything. Like I mean, if a lot of people follow me, I mean great, like I'm glad I can, like I want to make that impact and change for others. But it's not like I don't know how to explain it. It's not fame, like if that makes sense. It's really just, if I want to put a pretty picture up of me, cool, like I'm feeling good, I want to put this up. If I want to put a workout up, cool, I'll do that too. Like it's just really kind of what I'm feeling in my progress. Sorry, that was a very long answer. I
No,
hope
it
it
was
answered
really
the
nice.
question.
Yeah, it does. No, it was a really nice answer. And it's nice, as you say, sort of you do the Instagram for yourself, but it's nice seeing the engagement you get from people.
Yeah, it's so crazy because I never ever ever would have thought like any of this would happen. The fact that I go to the gym and like I inspire people to go to the gym, and I help people with their like confidence and stuff, and all my friends have been so supportive. And it's funny because they're just like, damn girl, look at those gains, you look so good, and you're making me want to go to the gym. Like, what do you do? And I'm just like, okay, let me set you up, girl, I got you. So it's so fun. And then it's like nice because my friends they like saw how rough it was for me the last couple of years. Like I've not had a good time the last 4 years, especially this last year. And so obviously they're very encouraging when it comes to my fitness and seeing my page grow, and
Yeah.
they're just really happy that like I'm happy, and it like shows that I'm happy. Like I feel so like motivated and the spark is there, and like obviously it's not like motivation drives me just to go to the gym every day. Like a lot of it is habit, and I didn't, you know, the first like actually 3 I believe months working with Ellen, I maybe was going to the gym like twice a week.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I wasn't like smooth sailing like, oh I got this, like boom 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 boom. Like no, I had a hard time, and then I got really sick too. It wasn't COVID. It was like this weird like strep B, which I got like strep B and tonsillitis, and it was just like I was out
Yeah.
uh, right when COVID was happening. So everyone thought I had COVID, and it wasn't. But yeah, it is very like I love getting messages where people are like, "Oh, like you're motivating me," and like some of my friends are doing that, and they're starting their own pages. And I just, it's crazy to think that I was like in a way that like was the final push for that for them.
Yeah.
It's just nice. And then I like all the fitness people on Instagram. Like they're all so nice and responsive. At least the ones that I came across.
Mm.
And I just hope that, you know, more long term, I do want, you know, obviously I want to get like better quality pictures, but also spend more time in like my captions and other ways to engage with my audience, because I just think that it's crazy how different my life has changed. And obviously the gym is a huge factor. I wish I'd known about this earlier. I wish I got into it earlier. And I feel like you see everyone say something like that. And I want people to have that like push to do whatever makes them happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's just like doing yoga or like, you know, honestly like separating yourself a bit from your family. Like I'm not saying like block them off. Like I'm you know, obviously I talk to them and they're my family. I love them. But like, you know, realizing they don't determine like your life, and it's okay to have different wants and needs than what they want for you.
Yeah.
It was like a huge like flip in my mind.
With the engagement, what's the nicest, almost positive sort of engagement or interaction you've had with someone that you can think of? Like when you think of, oh, I've had like really nice messages or I've helped someone, like what comes to your mind straight away?
Yeah, so this actually happened yesterday or the day before yesterday. This guy I used to work with back in college, he, you know, he was kind of into fitness, but, you know, a little chunkier than he would have hoped to be.
Yeah.
And he actually, it's kind of funny because he was telling me that I should, you know, get into weightlifting and it would be good for me and everything, but I just brushed it off. Like, I'm like, no, like, I don't want to get bulky. Like, I don't want to get big. And then, you know, we still kept in touch. And when I started my fitness page, he obviously followed me through there. And he sent me a message being like, hey, like, you know, I like seriously am so happy to see you going to the gym. Like, I'm glad like you're happier, you look like you're happier. And it's honestly like motivating me to like start my own page. Because he's been training for way longer than I have at this point.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, I just feel like so self-conscious about doing it. And I was just like, I remember I kind of like chuckled, like reading at the message, because I'm like, you actually, you know, as if I'm speaking to him, like you actually like know your workouts. He has like a huge transformation, you know, he's gained a lot of muscle, lost a lot of fat, like, you know, like I'm like, if anything, like you should have a fitness page. Like there's no reason why I should. Like I haven't had like a massive transformation or anything. It just mainly like mental health and body positivity for me. So it was kind of crazy because I was like telling him like, no, you should do it. Like, come on, like post about it. And then I see him like posting a little bit more like from yesterday. And so I hope he goes with it. I think it would be great for him. But that's just like, it's just mind blowing for me to think that someone like that, for example, is self-conscious almost about posting stuff like that. When, you know, when I see something like that, I don't think he has any reason to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Do
crazy.
you still get self-conscious when you go to upload something? Or
Sorry?
do you still feel self-conscious when you take a photo or upload it?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely like scary sometimes, especially if I put like, let's say like I've done some of them where it's like pose versus like, relaxed, or I did one where I was like at a really skinny weight versus me getting, to some people I may just look fat or chunky, which is fine. But I'm just so much better in my mental health and everything. And I know like a lot of people tend to get a lot of hate messages through Instagram, but I haven't, like gotten any, like nothing like significantly where like it brought me down. So I feel very like encouraged to keep on posting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel self-conscious because like for example, like I don't like how my stomach is. Like I wish I could like lose some weight. Like maybe not have so much of like a little double chin here and like stuff like that. But I think that just comes with obviously better diet, and because I haven't been eating the right things, and it's kind of like changing my whole habit. And I'm trying to work with Ellen to see like, okay, getting enough protein, which is definitely very, very difficult for me. So
Was
I'm
it
like
very
figuring
difficult?
out. It's just I don't really like eating a lot of meat. I get very tired of it quickly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just my main way right now is like through like Greek yogurts or uh, the My protein. It's great because I hate like when protein shakes get like super chunky and like the kind of like weird milky creamy
Yeah.
texture. I can't like I will literally gag. Like no joke. Like I would have to like blend it. But anyway, so I found that my protein one, the clear whey protein, and it's like juice.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for me to drink, which helps a lot. But I'm still pretty low in my protein. Like in the sense of my macros, I'm like I think like on average 20%, which I'm supposed to be hitting like 30%.
Hmm.
So it's I just need to find better meals. So it's a work in progress.
What is it like? What is your full nutrition like at the moment? Is it, as you say, struggling to sort of find that sort of consistency, or?
Yeah, like for me, I find breakfast easy to do. Like I normally just have oatmeal like every day for breakfast, and then for dinner, or I'm sorry, for lunches, I really like chili with like some rice. So I generally cook that and then bring it to work. It's just for days where, like I feel like dinners is always where, not that I like mess up, but I like don't go according to plan.
Yeah.
um, if I was like maybe living by myself, it would be a little more easier to, not be tempted by other things. But since my boyfriend and I are living together, like I'm obviously like influenced by him and he's influenced by my own decisions. So we're still working on it, and it definitely helps that we're both trying to like be better.
Hmm.
So we kind of motivate each other for sure. But yeah, diet for me is definitely the hardest part because of my past and because of how I was raised. I don't want to be too restrictive because I used to like, not eat the entire day and then, binge and have like massive meals. And then like I would feel guilty and either
Yeah.
throw it up or just stay with it and then not eat for like as long as I can. So it was just a very difficult like relationship. And then basically going from that, sorry, I don't know if you heard her meow.
I just heard like a really faint. That was so sweet.
Yeah, she's a squeaker. Like, she's like a squeaky toy. But anyway, but yeah, going from that, basically from like eating massive meals, feeling guilty, not eating, and doing that all over again, I like didn't want that to be the rest of my life.
Hmm.
So I'm like trying to find that consistency and that perfect balance of getting the nutrition that I need to achieve like my goals and a healthy lifestyle, but also like live, like have a burger if I want
Yeah.
it,
God, yeah.
like have a burger if I want it, have fries, I love french fries, or like sweets or whatever. So just like finding that balance is what I'm trying to work on for
Yeah.
sure.
I've only been focused on nutrition for the past like year and a bit, and my biggest issue is when I get upset, I like to sort of comfort eat, and
Yeah,
so
me
I
too.
will
I stress to eat
devour.
hardcore.
Exactly right. That's the worst part. I've really tried to stop buying stuff that I comfort eat, like chocolate bars and bags of crisps and stuff. But I'll just go to the shop and I'll be like, I'm upset. I just want to sit and eat an entire box of like Maltesers to myself. But no, yeah, another issue. Like I was such a. I'm getting better, but I was such a fuss eater beforehand. Like my dad and my two sisters will eat anything, but I was like my mom, where if it's not chicken nuggets and chips, I don't eat it. And so it's been really difficult for me to try and grow my sort of. I'm doing a lot better where I probably now devour most, if not any food, like my dad and my sisters, but it's so hard still finding that consistency. Sometimes on a morning I'll wake up and like I love onions, but sometimes I'll just look at them and be like, nah, I don't I don't like you. And I'll
Oh, I
refuse to
feel
eat
that.
completely.
I relate to that a lot. I mean, I grew up super picky, and I think that's also why, like, even now I have a hard time eating protein because growing up, like, I will not, like, it's not that I, like, wanted to be vegetarian or be a vegan per se. Like, I have nothing against it. I just could not stand certain textures. I think that's what it was, or like certain
Mhm.
tastes. Like, when it comes to beef and like, the fat around it, like my parents would always give me a hard time because I would literally cut every single thing and there was like only a chunk that was like much left,
I
and
do
that
this.
was the only chunk that I would eat, and that's it. Like I just can't stand it. So
I do the same. I got like I can't remember what steak I got. I got like three big steaks. I was like, yes, this is gonna be a great dinner for when I come home after the gym. And then like I looked at it, I was like, oh, I'll just cut all around there, and like I had
yeah,
the tiniest little nibble.
I feel so bad, but it like worked with me and my brother because like I get like a steak like this, I maybe get like this much, like a very small amount, and then like I would just give him the scraps and the remains, and he would just eat it. It was like he was like my garbage disposal. So whatever I didn't eat, he ate. Um,
That's why I've always admired people who are vegans and vegetarians and stuff because like health benefits must be wonderful to eat a bunch of really nice healthy food. But I can't do it because I'm so picky and like most of their food I hate.
yeah, I've seriously thought about being vegan or vegetarian at least because I'm like, well, I don't eat like that much meat anyway. Like it wouldn't be like that difficult. But then I love seafood. Anything with fish, like I'm not picky when it comes to that. And so I'm like, do I want to give that up? Like I don't know if I want to give it up. And then um yeah, the main thing for me is like seafood, and I'm trying to think what else. Like obviously I love like a good filet mignon, but you can't have that like every day.
Every
So
day. Yeah, God no.
like I don't know. But then like growing up too, like my family and I really, really love like sour cream, and like
Mhm.
it's a huge like Russian thing. We like put it on like everything. It's kind of like ketchup for us. Like sour cream and like pancakes and all, like potatoes are huge. Like all the basically the foods that aren't good for you is what I love.
Yeah.
So it's so difficult finding meals that I like and that hits my macros. And so that's why I'm like I feel like it's always going to be a work in progress.
Mhm.
Um but I guess like my mindset and how I see food and how I feel after I eat definitely helps a lot. And I think that's what also motivates me to want to eat better.
So
Yeah.
I've noticed as well on your Instagram, you've been hitting a lot of personal bests recently.
Yeah.
What are your workouts like and like how are you feeling hitting all these new personal bests?
So yeah, so I've been right now with Ellen, I'm going to the gym 4 times a week. Two of them are going to be or are usually upper body, and two of them are lower body.
Mhm.
Um, I think because I have two injuries as well. I have a weak ankle and my shoulder. I fell off a horse and I got dislocated, which like affected everything around my like neck area over here.
Yeah, go.
So there's certain exercises I have a really hard time doing, and especially with my right ankle being like very weak and it swells up. Ellen and I have been working for a while to strengthen up the muscles around my ankle. So
Mhm.
like we do a lot of like goblet squats, like box squats, like single leg exercises, like has helped like significantly in my balance and my strength and also my endurance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so now, like, I mean, I've been doing hip thrusts basically since the beginning. Yeah, like I think after like the first month of working with her, but now I'm like hitting over, 300 pounds, which is like insane for me. Like, I mean, that's like crazy to think like, wow, I'm like lifting this amount of weight. And I think a lot of it has to do with she's helping me with uh, balancing my muscles out. So it makes me feel a lot more confident and stable in my lifts, which is so underrated and so important. Not only that, I think a lot of it is also mental and like understanding how to connect with your body
Mm-hmm.
and how to push yourself the right way and understanding the difference in between like pain or like soreness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, which I had like a hard time with that. So like, I could have easily in the beginning done a lot more weight, but I was so worried that like, oh, is my form right? Like, I don't know if I could lift this up or, I was just really scared in a way because I didn't know if the weight would like crush me. As silly as that
The
sounds.
perfect worry for a first timer.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of it was just working on like different muscles because I've been doing deadlifts here and there and I've been doing squats like now more recently. And then I've been doing benching, um, which my goal is to get 45s on each side. Like if I do that, like I've made it. That's how I know I made it. But yeah, it's so encouraging, like actually seeing how consistency is paying off because consistency is always the thing that I had trouble with.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do quite a lot of boxing, and my coach always, most of our sessions usually are to do with conditioning, and that's as much as it is body conditioning, it is mental conditioning to keep going, especially because, in a fight, I'll need to keep going because the other guy is not going to stop. But it is so interesting to think like your entire mindset can determine how well you do in your routines and your sessions and how much weight you could really lift.
No, it's crazy because I remember I saw one of Ellen's posts. She posted recently too, and she was lifting a decent amount of weight. I don't recall exactly, but she like put up her what I really admire about Ellen is she doesn't put on this like perfect facade.
Yeah.
She, like shows, like the struggles that she goes through as well, which I seriously, respect it. It makes me feel like she's more human and it's okay to have mistakes too, in a weird way. And so you could see that she was really struggling to lift this weight when normally she would have no problem. And
Mm-hmm.
her whole like caption and thing that she was talking about was how um, your mind can really affect you physically, um, and what you think and what you can and cannot do, which is, I mean, that's such a simple way, I guess, of seeing it, but it's crazy because when it comes to anything like not even fitness related, like if you put your mind into it or if you think you can or can't do it, like your body will respond in that kind of way. So a lot of it is mental conditioning as well, which I think is so important for your own career, for your own like personal development, for your physical development.
Mm-hmm.
So much of it for me has been mental, which I think is now why my body is responding in
A
the
lot
way
more
that I want it
positively.
to. And
Yeah.
I'm not like in a way like I'm not like hating myself for not lifting enough weight or I'm not hating myself for like not being skinny enough. I'm like, no, like I want that growth. Like fuel me. Like I want to lift this weight. Like a lot of it is strength for me,
Mm-hmm.
which yeah, that's one of my main goals is just being strong and then getting the aesthetics and working on my mental health.
Mm-hmm. I think that is one of, I agree with you on that. Is one of the great things about Ellen and the content she sort of posts. She does do a lot of like you said, the sort of, posing or toning or tensing for a photo compared to naturally and stuff. And it's great to see in a lot more things. I know some supermarkets are doing the stretch marks and stuff with models, and it's nice to see that sort of push on more of a body acceptance, because especially with women, there is a massive media industry who's trying to very specific things about women, and I can imagine it's awful. having body image issues because of the way the media sort of presents it. And so it's nice to see Ellen and yourself and other people push for more natural and different physiques.
Right. It's crazy to me because even with my boyfriend, for example, so much of social media is edited. Like I could easily say like 99%. Like even the ones that you think aren't edited are edited in some sort of way, whether that be with photo manipulation or, like color adjustment, whatever it is.
Mm.
And like I'm sure you know that there's a lot of video editing now that can manipulate your body and make you look like 10 pounds skinnier or have a bigger butt or bigger boobs or whatever it is that you desire, smaller nose, brighter eyes, whatever. That's all possible. And a lot of like I tell my friends and I show him like, content that, shows like edited versus unedited or videos that can do it now. And like even like hacks, I guess, that girls can do, like, for example, like push-up bras, like that's like a standard one, right?
Yeah.
Like some guys don't really know about it or doesn't really know what it means. And it's like baffling to me how a lot of guys in particular think that that's reality when it's not. And you're just seeing this small glimpse of like this very perfect angle, this very perfect lighting, this model or whatever that's done up a certain way. And then not only that, and like on top of that, the picture is edited. Facetune is so easy to do. I mean, I'm not gonna lie either. I mean, yeah, I use Facetune, but I don't manipulate my body.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I have like a giant blemish, like, I mean, I probably don't want to post like a giant pimple on my face like on the internet. That's not kind of like my content. Eventually I want to feel comfortable enough doing that, but if I'm being honest, like I'm not comfortable doing that. But I never ever like make a certain part of my body bigger or shape it a different way, and that's something I'm seriously against.
Yeah.
And like I don't like smooth out my like skin texture all the way. It just like if there's like a giant blemish or something. But my main thing is just like lighting is what I edit. But yeah, I just wish there was like more awareness on it, and I'm very happy to see on Instagram in particular, like there is more of awareness of it. A lot more Instagram accounts are bringing this to attention about photo manipulation and videos and the whole like pose versus relax, because it's like bodies move, skin folds, like there's stretch marks, like
Yeah.
just like we're human.
It's especially with TikTok and sort of the power that as an app is now having. There's a load of videos I've seen today on my lunch break, and it's people going, oh, this is me in the gym, and this was me 5 seconds afterwards, and you see the difference between them posing and tensing and then just being relaxed. There's ones that go, here's a progress picture of me a couple of months ago, here's a picture of me today, but here's a picture of me today after I've eaten dinner, after I've had a drink, and then it shows that even through the day the body just sort of grows and shrinks and grows depending on what you eat, what you drink, and what you do. So it's interesting because TikTok is now such a powerful app and platform. It's everywhere, that these videos, this content is being used on there by younger people as well as older.
Yeah, TikTok is definitely a powerful tool. Like, I mean, I'm on it too. Like, I started my fitness page on there too. But that aside, I've been on it for a while as well, and it's crazy the type of content. I saw this one video actually where this girl, she has her own personal profile, right? Just like her standard picture, and there's a For You page, so it suggests like videos, right? She made a different account and she put like a hot guy's picture, like made like a popular name on it, and the content that both of those pages received were so different. Like the guy would get a lot of like really, let's say, like hot girls like dancing or like those kind of like thirst trap more videos, and the girl just got those standard kind of like funny videos or animal videos, which is just so bizarre that an app like an app that is made for kids has so much power and everyone's on it. Like it's mind-blowing to me. And so it's very positive. Like I've noticed there's some accounts that also bring awareness to it, and they're showing like the Photoshop manipulation. And the main one that I show my friends too is this one girl who's like, in this tight like black dress, and then she like manipulated her body, and she like runs her hands to the side. So a lot of people say like, oh, like you can't do that in videos, but no, she easily did it. And then you can see the side by side video, and you're like, oh my god, like if I didn't like know this was edited, I probably wouldn't have realized it was like manipulated in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, the power that we have as consumers is like mind-blowing to me, because we have so much tools that can change our body, and then we feel like we have to like fit in this certain like image, but in reality we don't have to. Like, it just, I guess we're almost like programmed to do it like that. I don't know, that's just how I feel about it.
No, definitely. I think this is a good point to sort of start wrapping up and stuff. I just want to ask, did you sort of I'll say that again. Did you have anything you wanted to say to anyone who's listening? Any motivational words of advice?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Just really, as cheesy as it sounds, and you probably heard this a million times, but really focus on yourself and what makes you happy. Like, so much of my life, I was trying to fit into this image that I'm not, and I could never be. And it doesn't make me a bad person or anything. And I just feel like there are other people that probably can relate to that or feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it just is so sad, because there's no reason why you should strive to be something that someone else wants you to be, whether that be society, your friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, family. Like, just really do things that make you happy. And if you don't know what those are, that's okay too. Like, just, I would recommend journaling, kind of like writing out like little goals or things that interest you, or you get a spark out of it. And then through time, if you don't know, you'll figure out what that is and what you want to go for, and then just go for it. Like, you're the biggest advocate to yourself. Like, there's only one of you. You're special. You got this. But that's what I gotta say.
No, that's a very beautiful message. Thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been lovely having you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Is there anywhere, any links, any websites, any pages people can find you on?
Oh, well, I mean, my Instagram, it's Raisa Lift. Raisa is my middle name, so that's why I went with that. So far, that's basically it. But I am starting a TikTok account. It's the same handle and everything. So it'd be great if I could, if you can support me there too.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So if you want to check more of her out, the links will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I will see you in another episode.